Hello, Dr. Stephanie Gray with Integrative Health and Hormone Clinic and Your Longevity Blueprint Nutraceuticals. Thank you for joining me with another video. This is part 2 of the 5-part series on stress and your adrenals. Now, in part 1, we discussed the negative impact of stress on our health. But how do you know if you're under stress? Sometimes it's obvious, right? With me, I had heart racing. I knew I was under stress. Other times, we may think we're getting along pretty well when actually our bodies are telling us that it's stressed. So physical symptoms of stress include headaches, tight neck and shoulders, back pain, indigestion, stomach aches, sweaty palms, sleep difficulties, restlessness, dizziness, racing heart that I mentioned, fatigue, and even ringing in the ears. Behavioral symptoms of stress include excessive smoking or alcohol use, even drugs, compulsive eating or even gum chewing, having a critical attitude towards others, and even grinding the teeth at night. Emotional symptoms of stress include overwhelming sense of pressure, crying, anxiety or nervousness, boredom, edginess or irritability, feeling ready to explode, jealousy, anger, resentment, unforgiveness, shame, loneliness, unhappiness for no reason, and feeling powerless to change. Now, cognitive symptoms of stress include trouble thinking clearly, memory fog, forgetfulness, inability to make decisions, constant worrying, losing your sense of humor, and even lack of creativity. Now, if you've struggled with some of these symptoms, you might be wondering, well, what testing options are available to help you confirm this? There aren't many, but I'll share a few here. So firstly, if you have a functional medicine provider, they're likely familiar with ordering either urine or saliva cortisol testing. Now, on a 24-hour urine test, if you're really stressed, in acute stress, cortisol metabolites may initially be high. A better test is a 4 to 5 point saliva cortisol test. So with this test, individuals spit into a tube morning, noon, evening, and night. Cortisol is supposed to be highest in the morning, so you're full of energy, and it's supposed to be lowest at night so that you can sleep. In times of stress, oftentimes cortisol is very high even at night, inhibiting patients from sleeping. And when patients are just dead tired, their cortisol is very low. Now, many patients have presented to me thinking they have Addison's disease, and they've seen endocrinology. They've passed their ACTH stimulation test. They don't have true adrenal failure, however, they still could be experiencing adrenal stress or lower cortisol and need support. Now, some of my patients I mentioned have high cortisol. They may have been in fight or flight for so long, or maybe they're over-exercising, which is constantly causing high cortisol. I see this a lot with athletes and marathon runners. So these cause high levels of cortisol that, believe me, cannot be sustained long term. Eventually, these patients are going to crash and burn and end up with low cortisol and low energy. So to give you a few examples, if you feel more restless, anxious, or have insomnia, your cortisol is probably too high. And if you have chronic pain, maybe chronic fatigue, your cortisol is likely going to be low on that test. But you can certainly get tested. A provider can test you for that. Additionally, if you have been stressed for a long period of time, you have heard me say before that stress is your biggest hormone hijacker. Your sex hormone levels may be low. So your fatigue, your PMS, your hair loss, your weight gain, hot flashes, even low libido could be from low sex hormones resulting from stress. So that's another way we can confirm on paper that you're stressed or have been stressed when you have those low hormone levels. The good news is the earlier we can learn to manage our stress, the better our outcomes for our health. So please join me for parts 3, 4, and 5 of these blogs for strategies on how we can lessen the impact of stress on our health. And you can learn more about hormones and stress being your body's biggest hormone hijacker in Chapter 6 of my book, Your Longevity Blueprint. So thank you for tuning in. Please share this knowledge and video with friends and family. Leave a comment if you would like, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember that wellness is waiting.